Vision score is a post-game and middle-of-game stat that indicates how much vision a player has created or denied in a match. With new quests coming out revolving around vision score, Pike players netting well over 100 vision score in some games, and just general curiosity, the same question has come to my mind again and again, and that is, how the does vision score work? As a support main, I get some sort of sense of pride while looking at the endgame leaderboard and learning that I had a higher vision score than the enemy support. So what can we learn to make sure we get the biggest, girthiest, and thickest vision score? The basics are pretty simple. It's estimated that when you place a ward, you will receive about 1 vision score per minute over that ward's lifetime. So with a totem ward that lasts 90 seconds at level 1, you could potentially get a maximum of 1.5 vision score. Ghost Poro is the same length at 90 seconds, so again, a potential of 1.5. Zombie wards last 120 seconds, so that can net you a maximum of up to 2. Stealth wards that you get from a support item like Frostfang last 150 seconds, so you could potentially get a maximum of 2.5 vision score. Fiddlestick's effigies last up to 280 seconds at max level, so their potential shoots up to 4.67 vision score. And then finally, we have our 2 infinite length wards in both Blue Trinket as well as Control wards that have the potential to give you infinite vision score as long as they, of course, never die. So that sounds pretty simple, knowing the baseline for vision score, but just like everything in Riot's coding, it's actually not. There are other ward lifetime modifiers, as they're called, that can penalize how much vision score you're receiving when these wards are alive. The first being staleness. If your ward hasn't seen any interesting units, i.e. it's sitting somewhere where it doesn't see any enemy champions, wards, or neutral monsters, the amount of vision score gained at 2 minutes of staleness will reduce to 50%, granting you 0.5 vision score instead of 1 a minute as we previously stated. The second is redundancy. If your ward is near another friendly source of vision, like an allied ward, structures like turrets, or lane minions, its point value will be reduced starting at minus 25% for 1 infraction of redundancy, all the way up to minus 75% for 3 or more infractions of redundancy. So if your ward was next to an allied minion in your lane, which also happened to be right next to your turret, and also has another allied ward right next to it, you would be receiving 0.25 vision score per minute for its lifespan. Safety is the third modifier. As a ward gets closer to your base, your vision score from that ward will be penalized, starting at just -1% right outside your allied buff camps, and up to about minus 50% at your base's walls. There's also pointlessness, and it's very similar to redundancy, but just more extreme. If your ward is right on top of an allied structure or inside your own base walls, it will have a minus 100% point modifier to vision score. So you'll literally earn no vision score for placing wards in your own base, which seems kind of brutal, but it's probably mostly meant so that you won't just sit in your base placing wards to boost your vision score. The final modifier isn't really a penalty and is known as baseline. If enemies quickly kill your ward, it will still give a lifetime score as if it had survived 20 seconds, equaling 0.33 vision score added to your total. So if the only thing that contributed to vision score was the wards you'd placed, you would take the time your ward lived, which we'll call T, multiply it by any modifiers, which we can show as M1 to M5 since multiple modifiers stack multiplicatively, and then you do that for every ward you placed in the game and add them all together to get what we'll call your wards placed vision score, or WP. But of course, your wards placed isn't the only thing that contributes to vision score. There's also wards denied, and it's a hell of a lot more simple than your wards placed score. All you have to do is add 1 point of vision score per the minute of ward lifetime denied. So if a ward has 60 seconds left on its duration and you kill it, that would be 1 point of vision score for you. If a ward has an indefinite lifespan, like a control ward or a blue trinket ward, you will get 1.5 vision score regardless of how long it's been alive. So to get this scored, which we will call your ward denied score, or WD, you would simply take the amount of time left on a ward's lifespan when you kill it and add each of those instances together to get the final result. Now, our equation for vision score would be your wards placed score plus your wards denied score. Pretty simple to calculate your vision score, right?
Wrong!
There's still one more element to vision score that is more than likely going to drive me crazy for the remainder of this video, which is vision mechanics. This encompasses everything else that gives you vision, like hitting a scryer orb, trinket activation like surrounding vision blue trinket gives when you use it, scuttler wards you receive from killing scuttle crab, and wait for it, every single champion ability that gives sight and true sight. Me, dude. Every time you use one of these vision mechanics, it gives you a baseline vision score. So for example, a hawk shot from Ashe gives X amount of vision score by itself, but the amount of vision score it can give will heavily increase depending on if they spot something interesting, just like with wards. So a hawk shot that reveals 5 champions doing Baron will give you much more vision score than one that reveals nothing. Only a madman would go through every single vision ability in the game to tell you how much baseline vision score it gives you. Right? Yeah, you know where this is going. Here I go into Practice Tool to find out how much baseline score each and every vision mechanic gives you in League of Legends. We're doing this in montage format, so hopefully it goes by a bit quicker. Ready, set, go. Alright, time out real quick. I fully intended on going through each champion and casting their abilities that gives them sight to calculate a close hypothesis of what these abilities gave as a baseline for vision score. But now, almost through with the C's, the only ability that has granted any vision score at all has been Ashe's Hawkshot. But how can that be? Is the internet wrong when this article on League Wiki says all champions' abilities that give sight can contribute to vision score? After 100 casts of Aphelios' ultimate, I posit that it either is indeed incorrect, and the only abilities that grant vision score are the ones that their main intention is to grant vision, such as Hawkshot, or the amount of vision score each of these abilities whose side effect it is to grant vision is below 0.01 vision score per cast, making it pretty much worthless anyway. Because of this new information, I found it pretty unnecessary to test all champions' abilities, and instead will only test those that their main use is to give vision, which boils down to Ashe's Hawkshot, which we already discovered gives 0.33 vision score per champion, Kalista Sentinels that give about the same of 0.33 vision score per champion revealed, and Quinn's Heightened Senses that gives, you guessed it, about 0.33 vision per champion revealed. I went beyond this and tested other champions' abilities who I consider to be mostly centered around giving vision, like Rek'Sai's Burrowed Q, Swain's W, and even Twisted Fate's ultimate, but they all ended up giving 0 vision score. This is potentially knowledge that is unknown in the community completely, so I think it's pretty cool that we discovered this. You may also be wondering if abilities that apply the Nearsightedness mechanic contribute to vision score at all, and after many Nocturne ults with 4 champs on the field, as well as copious amounts of Graves Ws, I'm here to tell you that it does not. So with all the testing said and done, we now know our final equation that plays into your endgame vision score is your ward's place score plus your ward's denied score plus your vision mechanic score, which only takes into account scuttle crabs, scryer orbs, or abilities whose main function it is to supply vision. Pretty cool. If you guys like this new type of video, leave a comment or like below with your thoughts, and if you're looking for more support content, I heavily suggest you go check out last week's video, which was on how to play Vel'Koz like the best player in the world. See you guys next time. Peace.